Alright, so today I'm going to be doing the video that the guy requested on my Donnie video. Last video I said it was the latest one. He wrote it on the Donnie video. Basically said, yo, do video on Karai and Leo. And this is the video. It's coming for you, buddy. So yeah, I'm finally doing it. And yeah, Karai and Leo, they have a really interesting relationship. At first, when Leo meets Karai, it's like love at first sight. He like looks at her, it's like Cupid just shot him in the heart with an arrow because he immediately fancies her. He immediately wants to go out with her. He just like, likes her. He thinks she's pretty cool. And she also, in first interaction, it did seem like she really fucked with him that much. She didn't really care about him. But it also does seem like she kind of had like a little bit of interest in her, or was like somewhat curious to be like, yo, this guy could be cool. This guy, seems pretty interesting because they had their first fight when Leo fucked off because Raph said, yo, just basically taxed the team from Leo. Leo just fucked off. He's fighting a bunch of fuckland. Then Karai shows up. She fucking digs her knee into his stomach and floors him on the ground after throwing baby powder in his face. And she like has him on the ground, has the sword pointed at him. She could like slice his neck off, kick him off the building or whatever, but she sort of just like stood on top of her, like and then see you later. Just like pointed the sword and was like, alright, bye, see you around. My name's Karai, by the way. So like she literally just like, done an introductory knee to the stomach and just left. She could have just ended, bro, but she didn't for some reason. And her reasoning actually later on in the episode was because because you're the only thing that doesn't bore me, because was like, wait, you could have killed me. Why didn't you kill me, bud? And like in the episode when they're fighting, Leo gets the sense that like Karai isn't really trying as hard as she should be. She's kind of holding back on Leo, and it could be that like, I don't know, maybe Karai also kind of like Leo, but probably not. Maybe not like yet at this point because this is her first time seeing him, so she's like only really interested in him. So that's why she wasn't trying to kill him like straight away, but she also does end up being manipulative towards Leo while he still likes her, and it's like Leo just immediately likes her. He even starts like switching up on his bros for her as well. When they're fighting the crime, he catches her looking, so he has to put on like a whole performance act, to try so hard to basically show up, be like, look how good I am, Karai, like, yo, will you fancy me more if my fighting skills are up to code? And then just because she was like looking at him. So then later on in that episode, he actually thinks he can trust her. He really does lower his guard so much for Karai, even though it's like his first time knowing her. He barely knows her, and he immediately just like trusts her and all. He hardly knows her and shit. The Raph is the one that is like, don't trust her. She's part of the foot, man. He's like, oh yeah, there's some good in her. He does end up being right, but it's way too early to trust someone that was on the enemy side. And just because they didn't kill you at first. Like, she does end up helping him at first, kind of like fighting the crying in that plant in the Geno Worldwide Project, whatever it's called. But then she just ends up fucking him over by just like pressing a button and spawning in a big amalgamation of like squid and cat and shit. And she just ends up leaving him. So it's like, she uses she's like one of those type of people. She used like Raph's interest in her as like an advantage. She'll like toy around with him. And she actually like she's not completely bad as well. She's not completely on like the Shredder's side. She's not gonna try and slice off a Leo's neck just because Shredder told her to. Like, Shredder does something to her, yo, go chop off Leo's dick, and she just like instead just like kind of talks to him, just a little bit of play fighting. Because at first she wants to be friends with her. So as soon as she finds, she's not like a short-sighted like Shredder. She's not gonna completely be focused on killing the Rat Master, killing the turtles. She actually has like other things as well in mind. Like, as soon as she finds out about the Krang, she's actually more interested in them, to the point where she's like, yo, I want to help you defeat the Krang. I'll ally myself with you so we can figure out what the aliens are up to and shit, So she's willing to, team up with the enemy if it's, for a greater cause as well. To basically, like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, pretty much. That's how she saw Leo as. But then she's still pretty loyal to, Shredder. She's still daddy's girl on the fuckland, because the second they try to assassinate Shredder by just like slingshot an electric balloon ball at him, she immediately pushes him out the way and then turns on the turtles again. She just like whips out rocket launcher, tries to fucking bomb them. So she will work with Leo and she will be on his side, but if he threatens anyone on her side, she'll immediately just turn back onto her. At this point, she's still pretty loyal to Shredder because she still thought that Shredder was like her actual dad. She still thought like, Shredder was being good to her and all that, like Splinter and all the enemies, because she still didn't know the truth. And then at first, when Leo did try to tell her the truth, she was just like, nah, you're lying, you're a piece of shit. You'd do anything to save him. But then she's actually thinking about it more. She had like this torn up, picture of her ma that she was looking at. She's thinking about like what Leo was saying about Splinter being her real dad and all, and she started like believing it more and more because it's like. Why would he lie, And, it's like Leo in throughout, like, his relationship with her, he never really gave up on her or anything. Even when, like, all the other turtles, Raph especially, thought, like, she was just a lost cause. She's born and bred in the foot, bro. She's gonna, be on her asses the whole time trying to kill us. Leo's like, nah, she's good. I could fix her, So, he never gave up with her, even when she would try to kill her. He's like, it seemed like he was the only one that kind of, like, saw, the good in her. And, she does end up eventually actually believing them as soon when she finds April, and they bring her back to her lair. But at this point, she wasn't like 100% like believing them as well. It's like she was nearly believing them, but then she was like, nah, they still could be lying because she just like set her off her tracker and that Tiger Claw to her base. That ended up kind of fucking them over. But it's like she only really believed them 100% when she actually saw proof. When like Splinter showed her the picture of her match, she's like, oh shit, so you are my man. I just got Tiger Claw over here, and he's gonna kill your asses now. So it's like she didn't believe him, but then when she saw 100% evidence, then she was willing to believe. She would like, it's like she is open to like other options. She is open to like other explanations, but she needs like 100% proof. Actually irrefutable, concrete evidence. To make sure that Leo and all isn't lying. She seems to have like trust issues or some shit. So this is actually a turning point for Karai. This is actually when she starts turning good. As soon as Tiger Claw shows up, she turns on the big steroid tiger that escaped the zoo and tries to fight him, but he is way too fucking good. He's like the best fighter in the fuck hand, so he does end up beating her, bringing her back to Shredder, and then this ends up getting pretty tragic for Karai. She ends up being turned into a snake, but Leo still wants to risk his and the turtle's life to go save her. Actually, no, he ends up. When Tiger Claw brings her back to Shredder, she ends up putting Karai in this cell, and then Leo's like, yo, we have to go save her, we have to go rescue her, that bitch is in a cell that was, way too far. And then Splinter's like, no, I don't want to lose any of you, and she made me my daughter, but I kind of have like a new family, so I really couldn't give less of a shit about her. Basically Splinter doesn't want to risk his son's lives, but then Leo's like, yo, it still would be worth it, even though if we get sliced up. He's super determined to go save Karai, even like, going as far as going onto Shredder's territory. He's willing to infiltrate all of the main base where Shredder hangs out with like all his goons and all. Tiger Claw is literally there, second in command, guarding Karai, and Leo's just like, yeah, we're still gonna do it. He still just wants to save Karai, So like he really does believe the good in her, and he is really trying. Like as soon as he saw that Karai believed in her, that's like when he, it just like the idea was planted in his mind. It's like, right, I'm not going to give up until she comes home and lives with us and basically becomes like our stepsister, pretty much, because that's the relationship that is between them, like step-bro, step-sis, step-bro, I'm home. So he does have a pair of balls on him, because he goes all the way to Shredder's territory and nearly, gets fucked over by a big tiger kitty, but Donnie came in clutch with like a dog whistle that made him have like a brain aneurysm. So they were able to get away just like that. And they actually managed to bring her back to the base. But he is also still wary with her. It's like he is a simp for her as well, but he's not like completely, brainwashed by her and will like her no matter what. He still like has his own, suspicions about her and knows what she's like. She is still manipulative as well when she's on their side. At the start, she's manipulative to for her own gain and shit, basically to help the Shredder. But now that she's on her side, she's basically manipulative for their own good, pretty much. So they all went to sleep. Leo went to check up on Karai. Karai was pretending to be asleep, and then she was like trying to sneak out because she wants to go finish off the Shredder on her own. By the way, Jesus Christ, she did not give a fuck. She's gonna go fight Shredder on her own. That was never gonna work out for you. He literally taught you your whole moveset, but she's still gonna do this no matter what, because she just wanted to really kill Shredder that badly after learning the truth, pretty much. So Leo, he's hanging around because he has a feeling Karai would wake up. He's still like because he knows Karai, he knows what Karai is like, so he's not gonna let her slip by so easily. But he is also still susceptible to her charms now, because like when Leo does catch Karai, and he basically offers go Karai and basically tag team Shredder She's like, nah, I kind of want to do this myself. I don't want you to die, because Shredder will fuck them up if you come along. She basically just wants to do this herself. It's pretty much personal for her. She wants to kill like her adopted dad, and so he still he knows her and all, but he still would have his guard down if she tried to rizz her up. Pretty much, she gets close up to him. It's like she's about to kiss him and all, and he's here like what's going on? What's happening? He's not really in a fight or flight mode or anything. His guard is let down. So that kind of gives you opportunity to blind him with more baby powder and basically make him slap onto the ground like he just greened out off of a joint. So she ends up making her way to Shredder, gets bet by Shredder, gets put in a cage above like a mutagen tank, and then Leo and the Turtles, they have to bring Splinter along for this, right? It's fucking rough. It's brazy when Splinter, their dad, has to, go beat up a Karai's dad. It's like, my dad's better than your dad, and I'm going to prove it. And the Turtles did prove it by, bringing Splinter to the place. And, yeah, so it's like here, it's like, Splinter Leo never gives up on Karai, even though she got captured again. He saved her once. They nearly got, took by Tiger Claw, and he's thinking, nah, let's go do that again. I want to go save this woman. I really, fancy her. So, let's go do it. So, he does. He's not, he doesn't really, at this point, he's not really taking shit as long as, Karai's in danger. He will be there to save her. And, he's the only one, actually, that didn't get caught in those little kind of, plastic cages or whatever, just fold up on the Turtles. He's the only one that didn't get caught because his sword was in the way. And he managed to nearly save Karai. Well, he didn't nearly save Karai. He's literally just on top of her cage and, just took off the duct tape and was like, hey, what's going on? He's like the only one that managed to get to her. But Shredder, the fucking retard, decided to, cut the chain and mutate her. So she gets mutated. She turns into a wild animal pretty much. She doesn't really seem to trust anyone. She seems to hate everyone. But Leo still has not given up on her at this point. He's like, his trust and belief in her is like concrete at this point, because even when she's immune, even when she's attacking everyone, she's like, right, there's still good in her. She's just misunderstood and all. It's like Leo kind of has like a deep understanding for Karai, and at this point Karai, she's like feral, she's kind of vicious, but she's not evil or anything. I don't think she means to harm the Turtles in any way, shape, or form. It's like she's like confused. I don't know. It's like her snake form. She kind of has like sometimes wild instincts where she would just go wild and attack everything. And she purposely runs away from the Turtles not to like hide from her, because she's scared that when she goes wild, she will start attacking them and try to eat them up like they're fucking mice or whatever. So, and Leo knows this, so he's also wary about this. So Rocksteady and Bebop, after they got mutated, they're going on basically a grocery shopping list, except they're gonna go for Snake, and they're basically trying to catch Karai and bring her back to Shredder, because that's what Shredder told him to do. And the Turtles, they're trying to protect Karai at any cost. They're trying to fight Bebop and Rocksteady. They're trying to make sure Karai is grand, and it all kind of does work out. Not really, because when Leo does find Karai, the only reason he wanted to meet her when he does find her at like the Comet Station, this big roller coaster thing, the only reason she wanted to meet him is basically be like, see you later, goodbye, I just want to go by, and then she just goes away from them. But then she does end up being captured by Rocksteady and Bebop, and she only ends up being bad to them by being forced by Shredder being bad to her. That's like, that's how good she ends up being to the Turtles. She has to be forced by her former dad by like this parasitic worm in her brain to be evil towards her. That's the only like instance of her being bad to him when it's out of her control. So it's like, she's pretty good. She's pretty good to the Turtles and on their side. So Shredder's like, right, so I have to brainwash her, make sure she's on my side, and keep her here. He had like no other choice, it seemed like. So when she did end up puking out the worm, she basically was just fully on her side. She did still kind of show like her manipulative ways. She would try and like manipulate Leo or try and rizz her up, basically get what she wants. But this time when she did trade on Leo, when she was later on in the seasons when she's fully against Shredder, she's basically trying to target his organizations one by one to like cripple his economy, cripple his army, basically down and like build her own army, go take him out. And at this point, Shredder's like in his fucking Hollywood mansion condo or whatever, somewhere like out in the hills or whatever, in the bed, pretty much in a hospital bed, like pretty much dying. And yeah, she just wants to take out Shredder on her own. She's really determined go kill Shredder on her own. She really just wants to be independent and all. And yeah, I think it's because Shredder done like a lot of bad shit before, and Karai didn't know about it. She's also bad, so she's kind of like redeeming herself for all this shit that happened. So she tries to manipulate Leo into trying to, help her, basically, like, feeling her up, and she'd be like, oh, come on, for old time's sake. And then he's like, nah, it's not gonna work on me this time, pal, okay? But then, she's like, at this point, and then she's like, all right, whatever, if you're not gonna help me, I'm gonna do it myself. So even when, like, Leo said no, she would still, go to help him. And she ends up being hospitalized by Shredder, and the Turtles, they end up visiting her in hospital because, she's basically their sister at this point. They're like both on the same side and all. So it's like Leo's relationship starts out with Karai as basically kind of rivalry, but they're kind of like a little bit friends. But then they end up being, fully on the same side, and they end up basically being like siblings. And shit, it's a pretty cool arc in the story, and it's pretty interesting relationship. And at the start, Leo was pretty much simping for her, trying to impress her and all, and she was kind of manipulating him. But then when she found out the truth, she like understood, why Leo's telling her Splinter's her dad and all. She kind of understood now that Shredder was a bad guy. She wasn't as stubborn or Shredder or anything. She's pretty much misguided, and Leo the whole time was trying to get her onto the right path. And I just wanted to talk about the relationship between Leo and Karai. See you later.